Welcome back to Whilton Mill for round 6 of the UK Kart Series, incorporating round 3 of the British Pro Kart Championships. Race action will be coming at you thick and fast throughout this programme, starting with the British Pro Kart Championship final for Pro and Elite drivers. Before things get underway though, we caught up with the race winner from round 1 at Shennington, Sam Spinell.
My name's Sam Spinell. I'm originally from Belgium. I'm currently living in the northeast in Hartlepool, and I'm racing Senior Pro Kart in Elite.
Okay, Sam, so Shennington last time,
Yeah.
You took the win that day, but just talk us through that race and particularly talk us through the overtake for the lead.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a tricky one. I fell back during the race and I knew I had to start making moves. Aaron was defending, which rightly so, he was allowed to. I got past Jess and then it was more of a case, it just happened. I had the opportunity to overtake him. It was off track, but I think at that point you just have to do it and see what happens at the end of the race. The defending was a bit excessive and yeah, from there I just did what I had to do. I got the opportunity and it didn't feel as bad as it did after watching the review, but yeah, it was...
Yeah, it was all four wheels, I guess,
Yeah.
over the white line. But as you say, a difficult one because if you try and go wide and then
Yeah.
come back underneath on a switchback, of course, the person behind you then fills your space. You
Yeah.
get hung out to dry. So I thought it was a decent enough move.
Yeah.
I know all four wheels are off the track, but I think the officials probably took a view on that because of the defending, as you say. But we're here at Whilton Mill this weekend.
Yeah,
Been here very much.
Yeah, I used to do the Whilton Club rounds in Rotax here, so I've been here quite a lot. I mean, the new layout's really good as well.
And how's it been going for you so far this weekend?
Hit and miss. I mean, I qualified pole for the final. Unfortunately, got a little jump start penalty on at the start. So by lap 1, I'd already knew I had to create a 5-second gap, and then a bit of rough racing was going on, but I finished 3rd in class in the end, even with the penalty. So far so good, and some good championship points as well.
Okay, and that was yesterday.
Yeah.
What about today? What are you expecting? What are you hoping for, I guess?
Today's a new day. Just be a bit more aggressive. I fight a bit more. I race with my teammate Jess. I do with BPEC. So it's kind of getting that mentality that you can work together, but you also need to think about your own race. It's more what I need to start doing now, I think.
And how do you think everyone's finding the new British Pro Kart Championship this year? It's the first time really it's been a sprint championship. You guys are typically doing 6-hour, 12-hour, 24-hour races all over the place, including Le Mans, I think. How are you finding this new format, sprint racing?
I think it's great. It's great for Pro Karts itself. I think Pro Karts, it's becoming more and more professional. There's more and more top drivers doing it. The sprints itself, it's very rough. We don't have drop downs, but it's what makes it fun. It's a lot cheaper. It's rough. The level's really impressive. It's just I hope bigger teams can come in future rounds and make it even more competitive.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
It's definitely going to be a race where luck could come into play. Aaron Alexander and Sam Spinell on the front row, Maximus Shields and Jessica Alexander on the second row, Charlie Bingham and Jake Richardson, then Austin Monday, John Hogan, Gareth Plackett and Henry Trenor. One of the most competitive classes in any form of British karting that you're ever going to see on any race weekend. We saw a big battle last time out. Sam Cunliffe and Mick Lord, Ben Morby and Luke Tomlinson on row 7 from James Drabwell and Jack Hewland, then Alfie Wilkes, Ed Hack, Sebastian Pereira and Aaron Lord rounding out the top 20. You can see already that the drivers are desperately trying to get as much heat into the tyres and brakes as possible in these slightly greasier conditions than the previous round. Conor McCarthy, Ronnie Rowe, Ty Lansbury and Seb Algeri, who is completing the grid. We saw him in the British Championships a few years ago, so definitely high quality race action coming from the competitors in the Pro Kart Elites. So this is going to be a tough battle right from the outset. Can Aaron Alexander hold off the charge of the battles around him? Sam Spinell will definitely want some recompense after the previous round of the championship. We can see the grey clouds overhead. Will they break? Let's race up to the first corner. And Sam Spinell absolutely destroys the move on the inside line from Aaron Alexander, and Jessica Alexander trying to come back at him. Jessica Alexander wants to get into second place nice and early. Not going to happen. Down to 4th place. I think that was Maximus Shields swarming around behind Spinell and Aaron Alexander. So it is the 7 that leads the way. Aaron Alexander in front as they go into Ashby for the first time, and already a little bit of a gap has evolved.
Effectively, there are two classes here, Pro Kart Pro and Pro Kart Elite. However, unfortunately, the plates don't tell us who's in what class, so we're just covering the one race. I can tell you in the Pro Kart Elite class, It's a drawn engine, pulled engines, and you draw for your engines at the beginning of the day.
Jessica Alexander really trying to wrestle her way past Maximus Shields as they hop over the curbs again. And once more we see, in some cases, I think that is actually 4 wheels leaving the deck as they hop over the curbs. Such a more physical race circuit than it used to be here at Whilton Mill in that final section. It really has changed things, and it's sorted out the racers from the amateurs. Aaron Alexander up in front of Sam Spinell, Matt Shields, Jessica Alexander. Good moves there in the mid-pack. That was Jack Hewland picking his moment on Mick Lord as they were trying to get away from Ed Hack. And that's a move for 3rd position. That's opened things up as Jessica Alexander gets Shields and Bingham does as well. So Charlie Bingham splits the 2 of them. And that was perfectly timed for Charlie Bingham. He realised that that gap was opening up. He had to get the kart fed into it at the last possible moment, but he had momentum, he had speed, and that sorts it out. So that's all at the expense of Maximus Shields. But this is such a different racetrack in the cooler conditions. At the last round, they were in baking hot sunshine. This time, in the cooler, greasier conditions, this track has evolved again completely.
73 gets a warning for track limits. Jake is further down the field. That's John Hogan, the man we know from Super 1 back in the day, used to race Junior TKM. Now plying his trade in the pro karts. It's 73 John Hogan gets his first warning for track limits. I'm not sure how many they will give you before they give you a penalty, but I know there's 5-second penalties being handed out this weekend, and they've been particularly hot on it in the earlier heats, the officials. So we'll see what happens. But that's the first track limits warning for 73 John Hogan, who went through the line in, 8th place.
Yes, he was in 8th position at the time. It was interesting to look at Maximus Shields, who was kind of gesturing to Charlie Bingham. Look, get on with it. We are losing time to the leaders here. He was waggling his finger in the air, almost as if to say, I don't like what you did last time, and I'm very irritated by the fact that we're sat here in 4th and 5th. We should be battling Aaron Alexander for the victory, not squabbling over the rest of the pickings. So this is a bit of a race of frustration for Charlie Bingham and Maximus Shields at the moment. Aaron Alexander still your leader. Then Spinell, Jessica Alexander. No relation, of course, to Aaron, just happens to have the same surname. Then Bingham, Shields, Monday, Richardson, Hogan, Cunliffe, and Gareth Plackett in the top 10.
Bingham there on the dark kart in 4th place, easy to pick out. He's the fastest man on track, but he hasn't got track position, obviously. But he'll be looking to make moves and pick up at least 1 place. He want to finish on the podium minimum. Probably better than that.
So let's see what Jessica Alexander can do to cope with a feisty Charlie Bingham. Warning for track limits. That's for the 171. That's Jack Hewland. So again, they're picking up these track limits. Interesting that there are more track limits violations coming in when the circuit is greasier, a little bit cooler, than it was a few weeks ago when it was in the sunshine. So an interesting one then for the contenders. They've obviously got to be very careful, hopping over the curbs. But this track really does change character with a few temperatures of degree, because the air temperature here can be very variable, but it's the track temperature, of course, the surface temperature, that really plays into account. The air temperature and the wind does have a bit of a part to play at Whilton Mill, but if you say come here on a hot day when it's 22 degrees Celsius, the track temperature will be around 35, 36. On a cooler day like this, when it's overcast, you're looking at about 10 degrees less than that. So that plays havoc with setup. Whoa! Did you see that from Jessica Alexander? Just the wrong angle. And you actually saw a little bit of an overcorrection there from Jessica Alexander on the straight. That was proper airtime. She was auditioning for NASA.
More track limit warnings there as they went through the line. I think that might have been Ed Hack. I think it was 133. Yeah, it was. Jake Richardson got a track limits warning. So the track limits warnings are going out. The cameramen are reporting there's a bit of moisture in the air. They're feeling a few spits. The clouds above look like wow, if it starts raining in the middle of this, they're all on slicks. That would make it for a very exciting back end of this race. But cameramen reporting there's some spits and spots of rain.
And of course in karting, this is one of the forms of motorsport where if it rains mid-race, you cannot change tyres. You've got to stick with what you've got. Now that is the 313 getting track limits. That's Sam Spinell. Spinell in 2nd place, trying to chase down Aaron Alexander. Now gets a track limits warning. Well, that just shows you nobody is exempt from the eagle eyes of the officials. Battle for 3rd position, hotting out Charlie Bingham, trying to get into 3rd before the rain falls. That's well timed in front of Jessica Alexander. And it is important to be in a decent position when the rain comes down, because the kart in front of you might be a little bit tentative on the brakes. If you're too close to them at that point, you're going straight into the back of them if you don't have the warning, if you don't have the sense to know where it's coming. And that's a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits for Jake Richardson. That's the first penalty in this final, really. So there could be a few more on the way, especially if that moisture in the air decides to break before the checkered.
Yeah, it's going to be. We have to have a look at this from the drone. Where are they exceeding track limits? I think it's coming through the right-hander in the middle of the track.
Could well be.
Possibly on the exit of Oblivion here. Let's have a look. So you can see now they're all the way over the white line there. In fact, they're pretty much all of them over the white line there. That could and should be probably a warning. Now the other warning they could get is through the right-hander coming up now. Let's see where they go.
Because
so
obviously
there's
the exit.
The first one, second one, third, fourth. They're all over the white line. So all four wheels over the white line on the curb.
Check out the battle in the middle here. We've got Luke Tomlinson diving in on Jack Hewland. This is terrific midfield racing, and there's several drivers all in the up for this. We've got Gareth Plackett in there along with Luke Tomlinson and Sam Cunliffe. This is terrific wheel-to-wheel stuff. As Ben Morby looks for a way through on the inside line there as well. This is actually the battle of a 10th because Plackett's lost some time. Hewland and Tomlinson are now battling for 10th position. Plackett's down to 14th, I think, behind Tomlinson, Hack and Hewland. So this is very tricky stuff.
One driver going over the white lines there, Jake. So I think there are three distinct parts of the track where the officials are looking very closely at track limits.
By my mathematics, we've got 3 laps to go with the time we've still got left. John Hogan getting a track limits warning. You do not want to throw away a good result with a 5-second penalty this late in the game. The 24 of Austin Monday also has a track limits warning. You've got to be so careful. That's going to be a point on the circuit, isn't it, where they're running deep and running wide.
Yeah, look at the official there as well. Somebody in an orange high-vis, that's an official. Here's another one there. He's looking at this corner and probably looking at the cones. So you've got official here in the middle of the track. Officials all over the place in this series. They're looking for track limits. And there's another exceeding track limits. There's another official down there in orange. So they're keeping a tight eye on what is going on.
It's a bit like trying to be a pickpocket in Piccadilly Circus, isn't it? You're never going to get too far away from the eagle eyes of the cameras and the officials. Aaron Alexander still with a decent gap over Sam Spinell, and for my money, enough of a gap to be comfortable going into the last lap. But second place is anything but sorted. Spinell, Bingham, Alexander and Shields all fancy their chances of second place. Here comes Charlie Bingham, really starting the attack now on Sam Spinell. Spinell's going to have to go defensive to cover. Charlie Bingham's going for a slow in, fast out approach. He's going to get alongside but can't get through. Spinell absolutely covers him off in the radius. Oh, this is going to be tricky going into the last lap of the race. They come through Oblivion, then through the right at Crook. Careful you don't take too much of that curb. Along Manuel's Bank, along Fine Lady. And there's a battle brewing for Maximus Shields trying to take on Jessica Alexander. They were almost on opposite lock as they came through. Look at Shields trying to swarm around behind Jessica Alexander and pop in for the inside line into Ashby. Jessica Alexander responds in kind. But this is getting a little bit greasy now at parts of the course. Jessica Alexander anticipating. Are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? I need to position my cart in exactly the right place, which for me, by the way, is the middle of the road. Don't try and figure out where they're going. Just try and place your cart in the centre. But for Aaron Alexander, the pressure's off. He has absolutely put himself in the right place at the right time and has worked himself into the perfect lead out of the final turn. Aaron Alexander takes the checkered flag in front of Sam Spinell and Charlie Bingham. Jessica Alexander does hold on in her race with Maximus Shields all the way through. Jake Richardson, I think, the first of the elites crossing the line. But so much squabbling on the final tour. A very happy Jack Hewland making the top 10 in a furious battle to the line that saw about 8 carts separated by a second and a half at the line. Aaron Alexander taking the win, Sam Spinell in P2 ahead of Charlie Bingham, Jessica Alexander and Maximus Shields. Then Austin Monday P6 in front of John Hogan, Samuel Cunliffe in a very enticing P8, Jake Richardson P9 and Jack Hewland making up 6 places to crack the top 10. Continuing on with Tyro Junior now, Harvey Williams and Maddox Chan on the front row of the grid. Oliver Gibson, who charged through last time, Archie Gale alongside Jacob Aston and Dan Parsons, Samuel Aston and Sam Skellett, then Bertie Sol and Harry Loffer. A 10-kart grid, but trust me, this is going to be an electrifying battle. Off we go, and a great start. Can Harvey Williams make it 2 in a row? He's definitely going to have his work cut out. Maddox Chan losing a little bit of ground at the start, though. Oliver Gibson already trying to get up alongside and trying to go for second position by the time they go through to Christmas. And he's there. So Oliver Gibson has not got to worry about working his way through the field to get up into second place. He's already done it. Last time, he had a whole race of going from 9th to 2nd. There goes Gale into 3rd position. Big charge on the inside of Maddox Chan. Jacob Aston gets squeezed out. Now, the last time we raced at Whilton Mill, it was a race-long tirade from Gibson to go from P9 to P2. Now he's already in P2. Can he challenge Harvey Williams up front?
Yeah, he had to come through the field last time, and obviously he had the pace, but coming through the field, it was difficult for him to get there. Didn't have enough time to go for the lead. He's got enough time this time, there's no doubt. What can he do?
Well, it looks as though Archie Gale's had an interesting day at the office. He's got a fresh side pod on the right side of his kart with no stickers on it. That's generally the kind of thing that happens when you've had a last-minute change through to damage or something failing or a part going missing or whatever it is. But certainly Archie Gale having a very tough race weekend of it this time. But he looks as though he's got what it takes to try and have another crack at Oliver Gibson. They've got to work together, though, if they want to take on Harvey Williams. Harvey Williams' first lap of the race was already under 50 seconds, something nobody else managed.
Yeah, again, easy to spot, isn't he, Archie Gale, in that orange helmet from the drone. But in second there, Oliver Gibson, the man that was super quick the last time they raced here at round 5. But again, Harvey Williams set the fastest lap last time, and he's getting quicker, but that fastest lap now goes to Daniel Parsons.
Oh, Oliver Gibson runs a little bit wide on the exit of the first turn, and that's going to be enough for Gale. Thank you very much. Into P2 he goes. So that is a punishment for the mistake as far as Archie Gale is concerned. I get through into second place. Lovely job. You just stay there, Oliver, and shake off Maddox Chan for me, won't you? Thank you, dear boy.
That was Samuel Aston pictured. He is currently in the top 6 position, so he's in that group there. Bit of work to do.
Well, Dan Parsons is the one that's just overtaken him and is in P5. We kind of saw him nowhere really last time out, but this is a much better run for Dan Parsons, right up in the sharp end, top 5 at the moment, with the chance to go after Maddox Chan and Archie Gale in front of him, with Samuel and Jacob Aston giving chase to Parsons. So this is a much better run.
I was going to say, Archie Gale looks like he's got a bit closer to the leader, and clearly he has, because he was 3/10 quicker than him last time, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. So now it's all on for Gale, and he's starting to gap Oliver Gibson behind. It was a bit of a surprise, that, to be honest, Jake, with the pace he had last time we were here for round 5. Oliver Gibson looked like, well, if he could start his second, he should win the race, but it doesn't seem to have the same pace today.
Different circuit conditions, of course. It's very changeable considering what we had last time. But
yeah, you didn't want to be a snowman.
No, in Archie Gale, interestingly, the last time he went up to Christmas Corner, he was gesturing after Harvey Williams. Does he think that Williams was running the gauntlet on track limits himself there? Was he trying to tell the officials, well, he's playing with it, I'm trying not to, but he's definitely catching him, isn't he? Look, he's done a 48.2 compared to Williams on a 48.4. Gibson's gone faster than both of them. This race is going down to the wire. This is not going to be a Harvey Williams one-way traffic annihilation, is it? He's going to be very much caught here by Archie Gale. 0.2 of a second per lap in 2 laps consecutively. So this is Archie Gale definitely showcasing what he's got. And look at Gibson. He is coming back for more. He is going to retaliate.
Gale definitely getting closer, isn't he? So Harvey Williams not having this all his own way, no doubt.
Now that was a very interesting change of line between the 2 drivers, because Harvey Williams kind of threw the kart in and then slowed it up on the exit. Archie Gale was very much slow in, fast out, much more conservative.
Gale's got the pace here, Jake. Look at that. He's now right on the leader. That's incredible.
This is going to be
here. He comes down the inside.
No problem at all. And Archie Gale takes the lead away from Harvey Williams. He's got a much better setup by the look of things. He's able to have a little bit more confidence in where to place the kart, and that's enough for Archie Gale to take the lead. How quick can Oliver Gibson get back on terms with Williams? And what can Maddox Chan do? Maddox Chan is now the fastest driver on the track by a few hundredths of a second. So this could give Maddox a chance to go for the podium. Gale, your leader. Williams second. Gibson third. Can Gibson make a move similar to what we've seen from Gale? Will Maddox Chan make the move first? This is a very different racetrack to what we saw from Whilton Mill last time. In the baking hot sunshine, this track clearly has different characteristics that the drivers are responding to in very different ways this time.
Terrific racing. They come through Fine Lazy, out onto, did I say Fine Lazy? Fine Lady.
It's Fine Lazy now.
Yeah, onto Manuel's Bank. They're through this Christmas corner as a right-hander.
Watch Gibson. Gibson looking very hungry indeed behind Harvey Williams. He's just waiting to see where Williams will place the kart in the braking zones. Will he go slow in, fast out? Can he respond in kind? This could be a move into the left-hander. He's not going to go that ugly early. Just wants to wait for his moment. A long parallel with the main straight. Will he make a move into the boot? Well, Williams knows that he could be there, so he's got to try to go back after Gale.
He's got to set this up for Christmas corner. Long straight into Christmas corner. He's just got to concentrate on staying right on his bumper. Man on the back of the group there is the 21 of Sam Aston.
This is great from
Here
Parsons.
we go then.
This is great from Parsons. Watch Parsons. He's got Maddox Chan on the run. He could go for 4th place in a Christmas, and he will. But he's got to have confidence in it. Go for it. You had the line. You had the moment. He just didn't quite have the belief that he could pull that move off. He had him lined up perfectly. He even pulled out for the move. But he suddenly in the braking zone went, I'm not sure I can finish this. And as a result, Maddox Chan gets away with it.
6 drivers at the front of this. Any one of them can win. Again, a relatively small field of just 10 in the field, but great racing again. Quality's quality at the end of the day.
Harvey Williams still very much in contention for this win. All it takes is one missed curb for Archie Gale. The back end steps out a little bit. He loses a little bit of momentum, and Williams can get straight back in this. It's not easy to lead at Whilton Mill. It's not easy to pull away. Harvey Williams is looking comfortable that he can chase him down again up to Christmas. And Gale is not pulling clear anymore. He had the pace earlier on, but he doesn't seem to have the strength. I wonder if he's just pushed the tyres to their limit, and now he's got to play a little bit more of a defensive game in the second half of this race. Gibson right there with Williams, pushing him all the way around the course. Chan and Parsons very close in behind as well. Watch for Sam Aston. Jacob Aston's in trouble of losing the place to Sam Skellett meanwhile. This is tense. This is properly tense between the 5 drivers up front now. And this is all about who makes the mistake. Archie Gale getting it slightly wrong there. I wonder if there's a little bit of rain in the air. Looks to me as though there might be a couple of spots of rain on a couple of the cameras. This is going to be tricky for Gale because Gale is going to have the problem with the grip first. He's lost out on the way towards it. It's going to be 3 wide up the inside. Gibson steals the lead away from both of them. What an amazing move from Oliver Gibson. B3 to B1. Williams was already on Gale. He can't believe that Gibson got both of them. Amazing.
That's one of the overtakes of the season, Jake.
So Archie Gale and Harvey Williams have been stunned into submission by an audacious move by Oliver Gibson to get into the lead, and he's checking out. He's leaving them for dead with just a couple of seconds on the clock. It's done. We've only got one more lap to go. So this is now about Archie Gale trying to hang on a second from the hard-charging Williams, Chan, Parsons and Samuel Aston. One more lap.
Incredible. It's like a game of football. Game of 2 halves. Oliver Gibson looked like he just didn't have the pace early. His cart's come to him late in the middle part of the race, and he made that amazing move, overtake of the season for Gibson to go from 3rd to 1st in Christmas corner, and he's got enough of a lead here. Doesn't have to worry about what's going on behind. They're just fighting for second now.
This has been a race of wisdom from Oliver Gibson. Tyre management, perhaps. He's been able to look after his set better than Gale and Williams and put up a good fight in the closing stages. Street smarts from Oliver Gibson into the boot for the last time. One last chance from Maddox Chan. He can't quite find what he needs on Harvey Williams to get into 3rd position. But the man with the plan, Oliver Gibson, snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. It's a brilliant run from Gibson. Archie Gale so near but so far. 2nd place for him. What a race in Tyro Junior. Gibson and Gale both make up 2. Williams and Chan both drop 2. Dan Parsons, though, a great run in 5th place ahead of Sam Aston. Jacob Aston struggles to hold off Sam Skellett. And then Bertie Soule this time wins out in the battle between him and Harry Loffer. But one of the moves of the season in any form of British karting earlier on. Oliver Gibson leads the championship then on 650, with Maddox Chan into 2nd, just 2 points ahead of Archie Gale. Sam Aston ahead of Dan Parsons and Jacob Aston, with plenty more racing to do in Tyro Junior this season. But there's not many that can compare with that move move of Oliver Gibson's. Wow. Into Honda R200. Thomas Harper pole position. Archie Ray Watson in second place. Matthew Plant along with Ayrton Ray. Then Frederick Avesi and Lewis Dean. Rebecca Restall, Dylan Suresh and Thomas Stevens. It's another of those double grid formations because Tyro Mini is in this one as well. Jack Griggs alongside Mattis Minakis. Then Issy Wykes and Hayden Adams. Max Flatley, who won last time out, with Lola Flatley alongside. So out of the final turn, and the drivers will be along the tram lines. Let's see what happens in R200 as we go racing at Whilton Mill. Harper wanting to put the Jaguar Le Mans colours up in front and has done just that. Archie Ray Watson a little bit tentative off the grid, so straight to the lead goes Harper. And up to Christmas corner for the first time, as we saw there briefly. The Tyro Minis, contact and a bit of a slide sideways from the 21 of Archie Ray Watson. Not what he needed at all off the start. What a shame for the young lad from Newport Pagnell. He's now going to have to play catch up down to, I think, 5th, maybe even 6th by the time this move is completed. And it is. He's down to P6. What a shame for Watson.
Thomas Harper there, the man out front from Derby. And interesting in the Tyro Mini class, which is the class we're not seeing at the moment, it's interesting to see where Max Flatley was starting at the back of the grid, Jake. So whatever's happened to him today, he's ended up at the back of the field for this final. But as we know, he's got the quality to come from the back and take the win. I'm not sure how much of a race of that race we'll see, because we have to concentrate on what's going on track, make a decision. That this is the Honda R200s at the moment, and that's the move by Ayrton Ray. Or is it Ray or Ryan?
It is, well, it's certainly Ayrton. We know it's him. Yeah. He's got the move there on Matthew Plant. Plant is going to try and come back at him for third position. Oh, around the outside. I don't know whether that's flirting with track limits or not, but there's Lewis Dean. He's going to get alongside Matthew Plant. He can't finish it. So Lewis Dean slots into 5th position just in front of Archie Ray Watson. That really is flirting with track limits. Whether or not that's breaking them or not, well, that's debatable.
I mean, they're obviously giving track limit warnings. We've seen that in previous races. And you have to look through the final turn here. We're just about to go through the final turn. We'll follow them through. The curb there on the left-hand side. You see they're all inside that white line there. Now, when they come through here, look at the red and white. That's over the line, over the line, over the line. All of them are over the line. That's a track limit warning for me. And then, of course, coming, as we'll see it from the drone again, no doubt, there's another track limit, I think, which is the inside white line before you get all 4 wheels over the red and white curb. There it is again. Track limits, track limit. Every single one of them are exceeding track limits, in my view, on that turn. That is the fastest way around the turn. So that's why they want to do that. But we've seen the track limits, but we're not quite sure, Jake, why they're giving track limit warnings.
And that's Max Flatley. That's Max Flatley. Something's happened to him. The championship leader in Tyro Mini has had an issue on the run to Christmas. Very unfortunate, as we've got a great tussle. That's Matthew Plant getting through on the inside of Archie Ray Watson, who's making a good comeback here, up into 5th position ahead of Lewis Dean. I was just about to say, as we watch them go through Oblivion again, yes, look, I was going to say, if there was grass there, there's no way they'd be flirting on the outside line.
So I think that is exceeding track limits, but...
Whoa! Watson round the outside at Christmas! Where did that move come from? That is so difficult to pull off. As Matthew Plant is there on the inside line thinking, well, I'll just cover him, it's no problem. Archie Ray thinks, are you sure? That was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm guessing, well, I don't know why they're giving track limit warnings, Jake, to be honest. I'm not sure what corner they're giving them the track limit warnings for, when there are definitely 3 distinct turns with red and white. Well, it's not curbing, but red and white tarmac, effectively painted tarmac, and the white line is on the inside of the red and white tarmac. Look at it here now. There you go. So that's fine. 2 wheels over the white line, that's fine. 4 wheels is not.
I guess the best way to sum this up, really, is that this is definitely a Whilton Mill problem and not a Shennington problem, is it? I mean, you don't really flirt with track limits at Shennington, or you're going into a tyre wall very, very carefully. Right, this battle really starting to pep up a little now. So Matthew Plant, Lewis Dean, the 2 drivers going wheel to wheel on the approach to Ashby once again. Lewis Dean looking very hungry here, sat in behind Matthew Plant. But Frederick Avesi, now in 2nd place, has actually managed to pull clear of Ayrton Ray and Archie Ray Watson, I should say, sorry. Rebecca Restall's having a nice little battle there as well with Dylan Suresh. Let's have a look at them. So this is the 42 of Rebecca Restall. having a look to try and get through on Dylan Suresh. We saw a good battle with Dylan Suresh in the previous round, but he went for a move on Archie Ray Watson, which, to be honest, I don't think there was anything really wrong with it. He's a racing driver. You've got to go for a gap that's there, and the gap was there. There's no two questions about it. It's just one of those racing incidents where two drivers are squabbling over the same bit of racetrack, and sometimes it doesn't always work.
Fastest man on the track.
Oh, mistake from Whilton Ray, and that's all the invitation that Archie Ray Watson needed to get through there into third position.
Yeah, he is the fastest man on the track, I was just about to say. So Archie Ray Watson there well, he went through in 4th place, he's in 3rd place now, obviously. He's the fastest man currently on the circuit.
And quite dramatically so. Look at the time difference between him and Harper and Avesi. He's half a second quicker than them. So this could be quite a charge back from Archie Ray Watson. He's clearly got the red mist. When you get into an incident, suddenly you drive a lot faster and you're angry.
I'm saying he's in 3rd place. He's not. He's
he is now. No, because Whilton Ray got passed by him. Watson made that killer move around the outside.
Sorry, yes,
so Watson is there. But look at the difference in lap times. That's what's the big the challenge here. Watson just did a 52.3, the fastest lap of the race. Is that that's Lola Flatley being lapped there, so Lola Flatley trying to stay out of dodge, and that's really tricky because Archie Ray Watson gets held up, and that's enough for the move from Whilton Ray to get back through on the inside. You've got to negotiate traffic. Watson just drives right round the outside. That didn't happen. That was not a move. Trust me, I made sure of it. I'm not sure if he's going to be allowed to get away with that.
Well, Whilton Ray then took advantage of the back marker in the other class, of course, and then coming around the outside of him, it was another terrific move by Archie Ray Watson just to hold on to the spot.
Now, Watson's lap times are key here because he's currently doing 52.3s. The guys in front of him are doing 52.8s. Now, on the last lap, he didn't. So Jack Griggs has now taken the lead in Tyro Mini, by the way, in front of Hayden Adams and Issy Wykes, with Mattis Menakis there in P4, Lola Flatley in P5, and I think Max Flatley managed to get it back to the pits and carried on again.
Now, Whilton Ray has a problem with his Nassau panel, Jake.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness!
I was gonna say, it's loose.
It's flown up right in front of his face. Now this is a real problem.
Oh, now that's definitely going to be a flag.
Yeah, it's
Have
a technical flag.
Slow motion replay. You can see it was loose before. I saw it at the previous lap.
Oh dear,
and
oh
you
dear.
can see the bracket is hanging underneath it. There's the bracket.
No.
It's hanging underneath it. So he's going to leave the track here. He's going to be getting a black and orange flag.
Yeah, straight out.
Flag.
He doesn't even need that. Oh, it's so unfortunate for Whilton Ray after his brilliant win last time out to then have a mechanical or a technical problem essentially.
Matthew Plant's just getting a track limits warning. I think that's the first one we've seen in this race.
It is indeed.
Despite there's the two leaders, that's got to be track limits.
Oh my goodness,
surely.
have you seen the lap time difference? Archie Ray Watson's doing a 52.1, Thomas Harper a 52.7, Frederick Avesi a 52.9. Watson, with 30 seconds left on the clock here, he's running short on time, but driving angry. Clearly he's got immense pace. Has he got anything left in him whatsoever to be able to catch up to Harper and Avesi with that sort of lap time pace? Anything's possible.
No, I don't think he's got enough time on the clock. Now, will they be going round for another 2 laps, or will they get the last lap? We'll keep an eye on the clock.
I think 2 laps, because that's Matthew Plant coming through in 4th place. So I think this race is going to have 2 to go.
It is, yeah. They've just gone through with just over a second left, so there'll be 2 laps remaining.
How close was that on the time? And again, Archie Ray Watson taking 0.6 of a second out of the leader, 0.4 of a second out of Avesi. There is Watson on the back of Avesi. So that could change for second any moment now. Lewis Dean still hunting down Matthew Plant. We go back to the drone, I think at exactly the right moment, because we need to pick up what's going on both in the Tyro Mini lead battle and in the second place battle. Here we go, perfect timing. That's Fenwick Avesi, and that's Archie Ray Watson right in behind him. He's gaining time by about 0.6 of a second per lap. So this is almost going to be a slam dunk for Archie Ray Watson. Avesi trying to defend. Watson was alongside him. Oh goodness. Avesi really pulling out the gauntlet to defend here for second, and this is going to cost Watson any chance of the win, but he could still get Avesi for second. He's going to drive off the final turn and have enough pace surely to get him at Christmas. Last lap.
Yeah, Christmas corner is going to be where he needs to set him up, needs to concentrate here through the second turn 2, through the little kink there, up on Manuel's bank. He's just defending, so he may have to go around the outside if he's going to go for it, or will he take a view and think, I'm just going to take the points and the podium.
Up to Ashby, it's yellow flags into Ashby, so he can't make an overtaking move. Something's clearly happened there. Looks as though it's moved away quickly though. Oh no, there is the static kart, unfortunately, off to the sidelines. That is a bit of a shuffle of the deck in the lead of that class as well. I think Hayden Adams is now leading in Tyro Mini from Jack Griggs, Issy Wykes and Mattis Menakis. So I wonder if Lola Flatley's had a problem. There is that battle, and there's Jack Griggs going for the lead and losing it! And there's nowhere for Mattis Menakis to go. That's game over for Jack Griggs as Thomas Harper takes the victory. Finnick Avesi somehow hangs on to second place in front of Archie Ray Watson. Great defensive tactics from Avesi. Dean does manage to get Matthew Plant on the final lap. That just shows you, again, in R200 and Tyro Mini, there are too many directions in which to look in for these races to be determined. Hayden Adams, I think, is going to come through for the victory here in Tyro Mini in front of Issy Wykes. So unfortunate for Jack Griggs. He went for the move. I think he had a decent move lined up there. He just lost the kart, clipped it on the inside curb. Hayden Adams takes the victory. Issy Wykes through in second. Mattis Menakis through in third position. So here's the final results then in R200. Harper takes the win from Hivesi and a furious Archie Ray Watson. A great fight back drive to third. Lewis Dean in fourth ahead of Matthew Plant. Suresh, Restal, Stevens and the rather unhappy Ayrton Rai. Hayden Adams takes the win in front of Issy Wykes and Mattis Menakis. Then Jack Griggs, Max Flatley and Lola Flatley 2 laps away. Thomas Harper taking the lead of the championship then, and a stranglehold on the points lead in R200 ahead of Lewis Dean and Ayrton Rai. And in the Tyro Mini, Max Flatley has a commanding advantage with a very close fight brewing between Hayden Adams, Issy Wykes and Mattis Menakis. One of my favourite categories of karting, Formula Blue. Harry Smithson and Anthony Cleal from Scott Lee and Stuart Gray, James Dawkins and Callum Jobson, Joey Foster and Max Gunter from Groves, Waldron, McShane, Kemp, Bell and Alexander, then Alex Fortune and Jamie Watts, Anthony Lee and Dean Smithers from David Good and Graham Joseph, and then Ron Schoen and Jacob Felton. 22 drivers. Let's race at Whilton Mill. Formula Blue is never dull. They go through Crook and Oblivion, and as they work their way through the first couple of corners, a clean start but a very hectic one as Harry Smithson hits the front, hoping to get well clear of his rivals. Good start from Stuart Gray, that puts him into P2, and a little bit of a wobble in the middle there from Mike Bell, who is trying to fight his way back into contention. But everybody still very excited through these first couple of corners, and as they work their way through Ashby, I think we had a little bit of a conflagration there in through Ashby. 2 or 3 drivers trying to go through the hairpin, and that has definitely held them up in the midfield, but certainly up in the front end of the field, Stuart Gray is already looking menacing to try and get through on Harry Smithson. This is a very competitive start, and that's James Dawkins through into third place.
I'm pretty sure, Jake, this is the first time TDI Media have ever covered Formula Blue as a class. I don't remember filming it previously. We've been going 21 years this September. This is the first time I remember us filming Formula Blue, but what a grid it is, 21 drivers.
I've done trackside for Formula Blue several times in my career, and I wish I could do more with it. Unfortunately, you have a CBE problem, can't be everywhere. And Formula Blue is one of those formulas that always brings excitement, always brings adrenaline.
Formula Blue at Fullbeck or Dubai? Have a think about that one, Jake.
Well, I've got the British Grand Prix coming up as a stage presenter. I mean, yeah, you can't be everywhere. You do have to pick and choose occasionally. So, 22, James Dawkins all over the back of Stuart Gray. The O-plate, Joey Foster, right in the mix there. The British Open champion at Formula Blue. There is another Joey Foster. I don't know if it's the same Joey Foster, but Joey Foster that I know was a prolific Formula Ford racer. Now somebody's in trouble. Someone's dropping back. That's a mechanical problem of some kind in the top 4, isn't it? Now, who is it that's gone? I'm trying to work out. Is that Joey Foster? Was it the O-plate, Joey Foster, dropping out of the race? I think it might have been. So that's Smithson, Gray and Dawkins. Foster is nowhere to be seen. I think the O-plate's gone.
It was certainly one of the drivers at the front, wasn't it? You'll see who it is when they go through the line next time, because those names will change, and whoever it was will drop to the bottom of the list on the left of your screen.
Well, that certainly looks to me like Anthony Cleal in the 1 plate that's there in 4th position. The Praga up front of Harry Smithson, having a wonderful run of it. Stuart Gray in 2nd with the fastest lap up to this point. I wonder if that'll change as they come across the line this time by. No, it is still Stuart Gray, and I'm afraid it is the O-plate, Joey Foster, that's dropped out of the race. What a shame. So early on as well.
Yeah, Foster's name dropping right the way to the bottom of the list. So it is Foster, the British Open champion in this class. That's what the O plate signifies on his kart. It's not a 0, it is an O.
Oh, there comes the move for the lead. That's beautiful from Stuart Gray. Dives in on Smithson. Smithson's not going to give it up, but he can't quite get the pace out of the corner to then get the undercut switch back. So here comes James Dawkins. He wants to get second. That'll do nicely. So from first to third in a heartbeat practically for poor Harry Smithson.
Yeah, first time in 21 years, but they're delivering action, Jake, which is what we like to see. We've got another track limits warning there. That's for number 18, Jake.
Yeah, that's Anthony Lee. It's not gone well for him so far in this one. He's still knocking on the door of top 10, but he doesn't want to be doing that. He wants to be top 5. Meanwhile, the top 4 are well clear of everybody else. And I have to say, great pace from Anthony Cleal. The number 1 is now right on the back of the top 3 here as a result of Smithson being essentially bolted down behind Gray and Dawkins. Cleal has now just about got a tag on the back bumper. The concertina effect in karting, it's almost a bit like DRS in Formula 1. When you've got that little bit of momentum switch, the kart behind can actually gain a massive amount of ground on the kart that it's chasing, and suddenly you find that you've got enough draft to make it work. Now a bit of a hop and a skip there for Gray and Dawkins. That gives Smithson a bit of a second wind, and Anthony Cleal now has a chance to work forward. This is very competitive in the top 4. Scott Lee now ahead of Callum Jobson and Max Gunter, who has managed to trick the timing screen into putting a couple of emojis on. I've seen that happen a few times in the past. I think Strawberry Racing, one of the drivers in Strawberry Racing years ago, always managed to find a sneaky way of getting the timing screen to put a little strawberry emoji on the timing screen. That's very impressive from Max Gunter. I don't know how technical a whiz he is, but certainly enough to have 2 cars next to his name. So here comes the chance from James Dawkins, diving up the inside. No, you don't, says Stuart Gray. Is that all you've got? Try again. So he nudges him on the approach to the new section of the course. And this is going to tighten them up. So now we've got Gray, Dawkins, Smithson, Cleal. Formula Blue is absolutely rapid here at Whilton Mill.
Yeah, and there are battles all through the field as well. All through the field. These 4 are well clear. You've got these 3 coming underneath the drone there, coming through the hairpin. So battles throughout. But what a great race this is for the win here.
This is another class that I would consider if money was no object. Formula Blue, full of great competitors, great racing drivers of multiple different types of budget, lots of different experience levels, some that have gone to the top of the stable in karting, some that are just doing it because they love it. Big dive up the inside from a long way back. And that's the kind of move that unfortunately is always going to come back to bite you another time. I think this is just outside the top 5, this trio, isn't it? Oh, and there's more shunting and shuffling of the decks on the way out of Parker and Wilkins. The 4 leaders are well clear. Then you've got Lee, then Jobson, and then you've got this monumental scrap going on further back. This is the likes of Gunter, Bell, McShane, Smithers, Kemp, Felton and Paul Alexander, all having a great race of it. Here we go, James Dawkins on the run for Stuart Gray. We have a 3rd different leader in this race. First it was Smithson, then it was Gray, now it's James Dawkins.
Yeah, that battle we were looking at before was for 9th place basically, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. This is the battle for, this is the lead battle obviously. It's all kicking off here. Difficult to cover everything. We've lost some cameras today with some issues, but we're doing our best to bring everything to you. The drone obviously helps. It gives a great overall view of what is going on around the track.
I tell you what, if you're Anthony Cleal, how frustrated are you at the moment, sat in 4th position, looking at 3 drivers who have led the race, thinking, I'm just as good as you. I've only got 1 minute and 18 seconds to get past all of you. I could lead this race. James Dawkins, he had a massive sideways moment going over the new section. Somehow managed to land it with enough time to hang on in front of Stuart Gray. Gray had to get on the brakes, and that backed him up into Smithson and Cleal. So a slight mistake for James Dawkins, but it actually benefited him through the concertina effect that then followed it. So it just shows you how quick your reactions have got to be. You can make a mistake, but as long as you catch the kart, you can then accidentally hold up the guy behind you, who then closes up, and the guy behind him closes up. So a little bit of an error perhaps, but it's actually worked out in Dawkins' favour.
Yeah, just 40 seconds left on the clock. These finals were supposed to be 10 minutes, by the way, but we've had some issues in the earlier heat, so the finals have been cut down to 8 minutes throughout. So these are fairly quick sprint races for karting.
Gotta love these sprints, and it really does show to these drivers that you've got no time to wait around. You've just got to make it count. Here's the leader, James Dawkins. In front of Gray, Smithson, Cleal. They've checked well away from Scott Lee. You don't want to work away from this battle, do you? Because you just know that this is where Gray is going to get his recompense on Dawkins. You know that Cleal is going to get his bid on Smithson. This is a tantalising battle. And sometimes, of late, I've been watching these races where it's the anticipation of a big battle that's almost as exciting as when you actually get one. I would keep both hands on the wheel if I were you, Alex. Alex Kemp getting a little bit flustered there in the battle with Leanne McShane and Mike Bell. If I were you, mate, I'd keep both hands on the wheel. Into the last lap we go. This could still go anybody's way between Dawkins and Gray for the win and between Smithson and Cleal for third. On the run to Christmas they go. Along Manuel's Bank. Up Fine Lady. Cleal's got to think about when he's going to make this bid for third position.
Stuart Gray's the fastest man on the track, Jake, but he's in second. He wants to be in first by the time we get to the end of this lap. I don't think he's going to get there. He's running out of time and running out of opportunities as we see this lead battle from the drone coming down to one of the last opportunities he's going to get in the hairpin. It's not going to work for him.
But this is Formula Blue. If they even think they've got a slight chance of a gap, they're going to slingshot and go for it. He goes slow in, fast out, Stuart Gray. There might just be one last roll of the dice if he can really go for it in the final couple of corners. He's going to try. He's not going to get it. In fact, if anything, he could lose out to Smithson. Dawkins is going to get the win. It's side by side of the line as Gray beats Cleal and Smithson over the line. Oh my goodness, Cleal actually snatched third away from Smithson on the finish line. How close was that? That's why Formula Blue is such a competitive class in British karting. Never say die, never give up. You never know what you're going to come away with. Look at this for a finish. Anthony Cleal beats Harry Smithson by less than half a tenth of a second at the line. Dawkins takes the win, 4 places gained. Stuart Gray in second from Cleal and Smithson. Lee in 5th place ahead of Callum Jobson. Max Gunter, Mike Bell making up 5 places. Jacob Felton made up 13.
That's all for this programme, but join us shortly when we'll be back with the remaining races from the weekend. We'll see you then.